She's had a heck of a year.
I had her sister Linda's kids at Groveport. That's how I knew it was through Linda.
Well, that's why I'm trying to stay in my bubble. Yeah, Ron, they're not Zooming tomorrow night's meeting either.
30. Oh, wow. Do we have Charlotte with us yet?
No, they aren't.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. And Gary, hello?
Yep, good morning.
All right. Well, it looks like we got everybody. We will go ahead and do the pledge, a moment of silence. Before we start, though, Ron shared with me this morning that Ann Darling Seifert, who was on our board at one time, her husband has been seriously ill at Fairfield Medical Center, and things are not looking very good. So as we do our moment of silence, please keep herself, her husband, and her family in your thoughts, please. Ron, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which
it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Darling's husband.
Thank you. All right, we can have roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Here.
Mr. Fowler,
Present.
Ms. Owens,
Here.
Ms. Pierce. Here. Mr. Seaman.
Here. Public participation today, it's a busy time of the year, so there isn't any public participation today. Nobody showed up but us. So we'll move right on to the financial report. Need a motion and a second to approve the financial items.
So moved.
Excuse me, point of order.
Yes.
Agenda and the minutes first.
Oh, geez, I'm just rolling right along. Sorry about that. Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah, they're hot.
Let's back up. I'm glad I did not get a motion there. Regular items, yes, we need to approve the agenda and minutes. I would make the suggestion on the agenda that add addendum items number 14, 15, and 16 be added to new business following item number 10. 10 was the last one under new business. That would put 14, 15, and 16 from the addendum right after that. So could I get a motion for approving the agenda and the minutes from our last meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, seconded by Ms. Pierce. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Seaman.
Yes. All right, we got everybody's yes. We did the public participation. Ron, thank you for keeping me from rolling too fast.
All good.
Financial report. We need a motion and a second to approve the financial items.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bartlett,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Pierce. Any, Laura, we'll let you discuss first. We're going to take questions.
Under the financial report, we started budgeting for and spending money for, the OCER virtual support and collaboration. That is the local share from Philadelphia, Ohio. And we started spending the GEAR funding, which is the Governor Emergency Education Relief Fund that we got. We just had spent money right before the end of that month, so I haven't yet done PCR yet. This month that we're in, already started spending money out of the federal portion of the OCER which is, what is that one called? Teaching, remote teaching and learning. Thank you, teaching and learning remotely. And then the, ESSDR, Community Family Engagement Liaison, that finally got through, all the way through ODE. So you'll see that, so there will be a lot of for next month to add those grants. In regards to the, budget adjustment for this month. Sorry, my hands are dry, you can't lift hands anymore, so. Not that you probably ever were supposed to. I don't see my budget adjustments in here, Courtney.
Is it the last page? The appropriation.
Right here, oh, okay.
Sorry, I take color and I didn't color it.
Oh, there it is, I'm sorry. Like I said, my hands are dry. Large majority of the budget adjustments for this month are for the GEAR fund. We also had, we got the Adam H. prevention funding, and, so I did the budgeting for that. The actual check from Adam H. hadn't been received as of the end of November, it was received in December. What else is on here? We have the new Title I tutor for Fairfield Union on there. And then just some miscellaneous adjustments that you would see every month. So nothing unusual, all good. Do I have any, and we did survive open enrollment. It was a bumpy period. We were trying to use American Fidelity for our open enrollment. And they actually joined with Miller Lewis, so there's going to be a lot more people with American Fidelity next year. And I definitely have some points of improvement for them. It's such a jump away to say. We survived it. So open enrollment is done. So we're happy to have that done, and we're now in the fiscal office going into calendar year end, which is quarter end, calendar year, 1099, W-2. So we stay busy over our Christmas break. We're typically physically in the office at least one full day and working from home. I don't know if you want to mention my staffing stuff now or wait till the general. That's fine. Go ahead now.
Go ahead.
So you'll see this on the, what do we call it, in the general, the new business, you'll see it. Lexi Reeves, who was hired as my payroll person, is pregnant. She's due with her first baby in January. She asked to switch roles with Tara Comer. Basically, the payroll process is very stringent, no wiggle room, and Lexi's husband works third shift. The new baby husband's the sheriff's deputy, works third shift. So we have successfully been able to switch the roles, and Tara is solely taking over payroll. Tara has previously started as a secretary and has worked her way over, and I snatched her. She's absolutely amazing. I kind of snatched her from Marie about a year or two ago.
Yeah, she did steal her.
I snuck her over. And again, like I said, they've successfully switched roles entirely. So I believe that it's effectively time to move Tara over fully to my office. So that's a change of position from secretary to the assistant to the treasurer, and it changes her salary schedule as well, effective December 1st. And then in the case of Lexi's maternity leave.
She is taking on a lot more responsibility.
Oh,
with this new role.
yeah, absolutely. In regards to Lexi's maternity leave, item number 14 is the hire of a substitute accounts payable person, hopefully starting right after the new year, and Lexi can train her for a few weeks before she's on maternity leave. This is just to keep us afloat while Lexi's, hopefully enjoying her maternity leave. But we interviewed this girl, last week, and we all really liked her. So that's currently a temporary position, and then we'll see what happens from there. That's all I have for the treasurer's office.
Any questions for Laura?
I hate to be a pain, and I should know this. Okay, so on the Fairfield County ESC medical memo, that's where you have to transfer to an account. Is that right? Like within the ESC?
Yes, so we're self-funded, so essentially, all of the funds pay into the 024 fund, and then we pay out of the 024 fund to Care Factor and Miller Lewis. So that's how, yeah, it's just an internal process memo check.
Okay, so it's like 204,000. And then what on the SCOIC, where you spell that out, that's more like 239,500, something like that.
That includes, so we pay, the SUIC for medical, dental, vision, life, EAP, yeah. So that's the combination of all of them. So
Well,
there's actually multiple memos out of the regular fund into the 024, and then one check gets put out of the 024.
well, I'm just looking at the SCOIC then, the first line then says, for medical insurance, it's the 200, medical insurance is the 239,500. So,
So what page are you looking at?
Page 15.
She's looking at line 1 of 15. Or it says voice.
It's line number 1 under SCOIC.
Oh, okay. So I will say that the amounts that come out of the employee checks may not always be what shows up on SUIC's billing. And Kathy keeps a reconciling spreadsheet, so no matter what, we have to pay what's on SUIC's billing, and then we have to work back on adjustments. So if, for example, somebody has picked up, had a qualifying event and picked up family insurance, where we withhold 1 month in advance, Miller Lewis bills current. So like, we haven't had a chance to withhold those funds from that person. So we basically go in and do an adjustment, and it shows up the next time. So there's pretty much a constant reconciliation that occurs when it comes to the insurance billing. Every time something is different than what's on the bill, Kathy has to go into the employee screen, enter the adjustment, and it gets processed in the next month. I actually don't know that you'll ever see those numbers match, to be honest with you.
Well, so I was wondering, it's not quite the difference, like on the financial report on our agenda where it has self-insurance health, it's got the 36,400 basically. And it's not quite, is that supposed to be the difference between the two, or it's not quite the same, or what's that?
No, it's not necessarily supposed to be the difference between the two. Like I said, as we withhold funds from the employee and paid bills, there's constant reconciliation happening. So those funds will sit there until we get a bill that actually matches what we think we owe.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so this is the amount. Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Would you say again what the GEER is? That's the governor's what?
It's the governor's emergency education relief fund. So
Okay,
these are CARES Act dollars that came to the state level that got reallocated in little pots of money to schools and then to the ESC. Each of the ESCs got a pot. Does that make sense? So suppose
Yes,
that
thank you.
helps the cost of additional expenditures that are related to COVID. So there's a list of things that are allowable items that we can use those funds for.
Thank you.
Well,
All right. Any other questions, Gary?
Nope.
Dawn, Mary? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Pierce,
Yes,
Mr. Stevens.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is new business. This is where the addendum items 14, 15, and 16 were added in after number 10 on the new business agenda. I need a motion and a second, and then we can have discussion.
so moved.
Moved by Ms. Pierce, seconded by Mr. Fowler. Marie, I'll let you start.
okay, so, a lot of this is pretty straightforward. Dr. Fry and Dr. Hensley, that's the general course of business. We have new scopes of work. We have new work that's being done with Northridge and Heath. We hire them against those, so.
Just a quick note on item 7, if you have the very original agenda, it should say Northridge for both of them. I do apologize if you have the very original one. But what was emailed out yesterday is correct. Sorry about that, Marie.
Okay. So they're splitting as normal. Typically, they have a scope of work and a contract we approve with the district, and then we hire them the next board meeting against that. So that's what you're seeing there. Let me just speak for a moment regarding the supplemental contract so that people understand. It has been incredibly difficult during COVID to find substitutes and people to come in and do work that we would normally contract with folks to do. So when you take a look at these supplemental contracts, this essentially indicates that we have either maternity leaves or people out for some reason, a legitimate reason, and we needed coverage. And rather than hiring somebody outside of the agency, we engaged our current existing employees in additional work above and beyond what they're already providing. In many ways, this creates efficiencies because it's really hard to build relationships when we're remote, for the most part. The other is that it's actually cost savings. I mean, to our traditional classrooms, it's a much lower cost than if we were to have hired, and we're not at risk of unemployment insurance because they're people who are already on the payroll. Does that make sense? So there are a lot of pluses in taking the strategy that we've taken. Any questions regarding that?
So they're not in the classroom, or they are? I mean, how, it's
They
unclear how
have
Sherry,
different roles. They
well,
have
but,
different roles.
okay, so like, I'm not, like, how can Sherry cover 4 classrooms, I guess?
Well, it's a supervision. She's not a teacher. It's not a teacher role. She's our coordinator that typically covers those classrooms that Amanda is on maternity leave. So rather than trying to find somebody part-time to cover that part of the maternity leave, we instead engaged Sherry to pick up those. We kind of split her duties. Sherry's picking up 4 of the classrooms at Amanda, and Brian Verde is picking up the classroom at Bern Union.
And it's definitely going to add time to her, like, unfortunately, she already works way more than we ever pay her, but this is definitely going to require more of her time, and her director's duties will have to be done even more so in the evening, so, yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Charlotte?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. The only person who's a teacher is Lorraine Rogers, and she's picking up because we expanded the grade band that she works to accommodate the addition of students that came from the classroom of the teacher that walked away from her contract. We had to reorganize to cover those kids. We cannot find an IS right now to hire. She took on that additional responsibility, but with the expanded grade band, it covers both elementary and middle school has a different start and end time to the day. So we needed to pay her for the additional hour of time. She has to be at work and teaching kids. Does that make sense? So once we added sixth graders, it changed her workday, and therefore we needed to pay her for that additional hour to take on those sixth graders. She had previously only had, fourth and fifth graders. Does that make sense? So,
Is that it, Amanda?
yeah.
Okay.
So even though they're in the same building, if you know that big building at Amanda, they're in the same building, same hallways, et cetera, but the kids actually get dropped off and picked up for transportation at different times, depending on what grade band they're in, whether it's pre-K 1, 2, 5, or 6, 12. So we had to adjust and pay for her additional time.
So if in a few months or whenever they go back to in person, she will have fourth, fifth, and sixth in her classroom?
Yeah, and we've done that in the past. We did that last year, and then every year we have to readjust assignments for teachers based on the kids that we have. So this isn't necessarily unusual. It just happens that we're doing it mid-year regarding this, and if in the spring, we'll look and matriculate every kid up, and we'll make decisions about what assignments are for the next year.
So there's enough cushion as far as students she's allowed to have or that are required for whatever that classroom is. There's
Yeah,
space so that she can have.
We're still compliant with the state laws regarding grade band. You can't have more than a 5-year span, so we're within that grade band. And we're still within the numbers of students that she can have as a max in her classroom. So we're not out of compliance. It's just a shift in terms of hours to accommodate the sixth graders.
Thank you. I'm sure you were paying attention to that. I was just kind of interested that there was that that there was enough capacity there.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like what we do is kind of a chess game, trying to figure it out, what move we need to make, stay in compliance, serve kids. And kudos to our team. They work very collaboratively together. They willingly came to the table. She stepped up and was willing to take on this additional responsibility, and she already knows the kids anyway. She knows them from the building. So it was the best thing for the children. It was the best thing financially for the consortium classroom, and so this was how we arrived at this recommendation.
Anything else? Any other questions or anything else, Marie?
And then the only thing on the agenda, you'll see the Amanda Johnson contract, which relates to Laura's explanation for additional support during Lexi's maternity leave. So, and that's it, pretty straightforward.
Any questions? Mary, Ron,
Nope,
Gary,
nope.
Charlotte, anything else?
Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes,
Alex,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Seaman.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is, under number 11, discussion on superintendent and treasurer reviews. Given, what we've done in the past, we've tried to do those in January. I would make the suggestion that the board do that at the second meeting in January rather than the organizational one. And I think last time around, Laura, did you not send us the forms electronically?
I email you the form.
Does that work for everyone?
yeah,
Yes.
Sent electronically? Okay. But we can also finalize a timeline on that when we meet on the 12th. It gives us a little time to get that concluded. And I don't know, Marie or Laura, if you want to add anything to this discussion at this time, or?
We are working on, the updated, analytics regarding, the ESC. So if you think about what we've done every year in terms of updating where we're at in terms of staffing, consortium classrooms, all of that data that initially transpired out of, board requests from the previous treasurer, we've kept that up for all these years. That data is being updated during the Christmas break, and you will have access to that information so that you can make an informed decision regarding, whether we're doing our jobs and continuing to grow the CSC.
Any questions about the process from anyone? It's pretty straightforward, what we've done in the past. Gary, you're about to say something.
No, I said no questions.
Okay. Well, the next item is the superintendent's report, so we'll turn it over to Marie.
So I'm going to keep this fairly short. You have been given in your packet, how do I do this? The basic information brochure and flyer for the PACT training. Remember, this was a grant that we received from the Adams Board. And PACT Tools is a forward-facing program for parents in the community of children up through grade 6. And it also, so it can be pre-K up to 6th grade. And this is a program that works with community entities that are providing care for children. So it might be an after-school program, or there are programs or entities in the community that have taken on additional, I guess you could say, daycare responsibilities for school-age children because the district might be closed down. The goal of PACT Tools is to train folks in 10 core strategies that are aligned with engaging children in a positive manner and helping to self-regulate them, and it's just good parenting skills. So anyway, this program is up and rolling. In fact, the first individual trainings have already taken place. So parents can decide that they want an individual training session by one of we have 3 of the 4 people trained. 4th person will be trained very shortly. They can join a group session, or we can personalize it if it's a community entity to do all their staff at the same time. So I just wanted to share this. If you know of anybody in your world that you think would benefit from this, this is at no cost to the parents, and they get a little implementation kit with some materials to work with their child. The second thing I wanted to give you a little quick update, and I'm sorry, Gary and Charlotte, you may not be able to see this very well. We've always sent out Christmas cards from the ESC to, different stakeholders and staff. This year, Matt Hammond's classroom, with support from Lynn White, our transition coordinator, created our Christmas cards this year. So I think they did a lovely job. And then in addition, I believe that Lou had contacted you regarding the opportunity we had for reduced price tickets from the Festival of Lights. So we negotiated the tickets are typically $20 to $30 a car for people to go through and see the lights. We negotiated $10 a car, and then our insurance provider, Miller Lewis, CareSource provider, and our legal counsel for the ESC contributed $1,000 toward the purchase of those tickets. And I believe Lou was supportive and may have had some conversations with you to ask me questions if you had any about the board potentially, stepping up to pay for the balance of the cost of those tickets, which is about,
It's $900.
it's $900. So that would really be a really, I think, nice thank you to staff who've gone above and beyond with a safe, socially distanced activity for their families, a break from the norm. And it is at a fraction of the cost that we would have normally paid for our opening day luncheon, which typically costs about $3,000. So we wanted to make that ask of you, and I made arrangements to go physically pick up those tickets, at 4:15 this afternoon, so that we can get them in the cars and get them on their way if you are accepting of this, idea.
Any
Yeah.
questions on it for Marie or comments? Hopefully, everybody did see the email. I didn't hear anything back, in regards to negative. I guess my own thoughts are that right now, anything that we could do positively to let our staff know we appreciate them, is helpful. I like the fact that it's a family-oriented thing, because given the restrictions of COVID, there are not a lot of those things that are really safe to be able to do. But does anyone have a concern with moving forward with it? Charlotte, Gary?
No, I don't have anything.
It sounds like a lovely idea.
Good. Okay, I see Ron shaking his head, and Mary, and
Fine.
I don't know that we need to vote on it. It's quite frankly a purchase order that Marie and Laura can handle. But I think it's something all of us needed to be aware of. That's why I sent the email out, because I didn't want anybody not to be aware. So,
I think it would be lovely to vote on it, and so it's in the minutes that we are supportive of this.
we can do that if someone wants to make the motion.
Go for it.
You make the motion, Charlotte.
I so move that we pay the rest, so that out of the great appreciation we have for our staff who have been working so hard in this pandemic.
I'll second it. I don't normally do that, but I'll second it. Roll call.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes. Even though we didn't need to do it, Charlotte, I agree that it's nice to have it in the minutes. Shows our support. So not a bad idea. Next is Eastland Fairfield.
We haven't had a meeting.
Yeah, we haven't, yeah, there's.
Well, not
Yeah,
much
we have
to
a meeting
report.
tomorrow night, yeah.
Okay. Anything additional that we need to deal with before we end the year? Charlotte?
Well,
Or Gary? I'm sorry, Gary, didn't mean to cut you
well,
off.
just on the Eastland note, I've been a little disappointed that they haven't offered the availability of Zoom, especially even back when Franklin County was in the purple, and on my own behalf, I mean, I'm trying to stay in as much of a bubble as I can because taking care of elderly in-laws, but just a comment.
Yeah.
I wonder if it has anything to do with where we meet.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there's people there
I think
with.
it's set it up, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, they still got people, on our board that, have pre-existing conditions that.
Right. You're right there, Gary.
They should keep in mind, and, if people want to attend, that's fine, but everybody's got their own individual circumstance, so.
A very good, true point. Anything else, Gary?
Nope, that's all. I hope you guys all have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas and stay safe.
Thank you, you too.
You too. Charlotte, anything?
I hate to, okay. Could you say a bit more about how the schools are doing? Are they still, Yeah, about who's,
Everybody's the same except for two districts. Liberty Union on Thursday of last week moved the elementary to remote, except for preschool. We're continuing to provide preschool full day, 4 days a week. And then the other change, is the Walnut Township High School is gone remote until December, 18th, which in essence is till the new year. That would have been their last day in class. So, I will say that the pattern across superintendents, we continue to meet every Friday with the health department, is that it is not necessarily children who are getting sick, it's the adults. It's not having enough staff that's closing the building. And so we continue to reinforce that people need to engage in safe practices on their own time, but we can't police that.
And Bloom Carroll went remote on a high school last week.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Bloom Carroll did go remote on the high school last week. Again, it was because of adults. Athletics and adults, those are the two that are killing us in terms of, keeping schools open.
what was the first word? You said something and adults. I missed the first word.
Athletics, kids,
Okay.
kids being exposed during sports and having a positive, and adults being out.
Are they looking at all as far as being like, I think OSU is not starting until like basically 2 weeks after Christmas, trying to get past the,
Bern Union is the only district that has made that decision already. It's something we talk about every week, but I think the challenge is balancing all the factors between what the community wants, what the local data is, et cetera. And we know that it is best for us to have the kids in school. So that's, if we have the staffing patterns that allow that, I can see the districts continuing to remain hybrid or 5 days all in. And they're just gonna wait and see.
Did you happen to see the article on Ohio wrestling, high school wrestling, where they were going to allow wrestling to occur, but they couldn't shake hands after the match?
Oh, my goodness.
That's about ridiculous.
Yeah.
Somebody put a lot of thought into that one.
You can wrestle, but you can't shake hands. Okay. Anything else, Gary or Charlotte, Ron, Mary?
Just everyone have a nice holiday.
Yeah.
Best you can.
and safe.
Yes, I would second, third that. Everybody have a safe holiday season. Stay small with your gatherings. I know we're doing a lot of FaceTime in my house, with kids all over the place, so. Need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fowler. Thank you, Ron. And roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owen,
Yes.
Ms. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Happy holidays, guys.
Hey, you all too.
And
Bye.
to you. And, okay, I thought, I didn't, I thought it was, Mark Millis there when it was actually, Ron at the very beginning of the meeting. So I thought